Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and look at this beautiful assortment of purple beads. Aren't they pretty? So these are synthetic moonstone, and oh, they're one of my favorite beads in the whole world because they look like they have those little lights inside, and I just think they're so pretty. So I've got an assortment here of the synthetic moonstone in purple. Now you can get these at Michael's. They sell synthetic moonstone in lots of different colors. I've also seen them on Panda Hall and AliExpress, but be careful with the AliExpress that you don't just get electroplated beads. You have to make sure you're getting the synthetic moonstone. And I think the synthetic moonstone is way prettier than regular moonstone. That's just my opinion, but I do. So let me try to adjust this camera a little bit, sorry. Okay, so I've got the synthetic moonstone in purple. I have some purple pearls. This is a purple, I believe it's agate piece that my subscriber Lynn sent, and it is just stunningly beautiful. Oh, I love it. And then this is a, I believe this is agate as well. And then I have a couple bead caps. And then this is a Jesse James, just a silver bead. So these are the beads I'm going to use on this necklace. And then you need several lengths of Coreana chain. So I'm using silver today. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a multi-layer kind of floating bead necklace. So I've got a longer length here, a kind of medium length here, and a smaller length here. And then I have two more, actually I'm going to change those out. And then I have two more lengths that will go up the sides of the necklace. Okay, so these are all going to come together in a connector right here. So here's what I've got. This is actually a chandelier ear finding, but I'm going to use it to connect all three of these, and then it will reduce it down to one, and we'll go up the side with one. Okay, and so you're going to need some sort of chandelier finding. Now you can use any kind of bead you want, obviously. These are all are these 8mm? I think these are all 6mm, even though that one looks bigger. These are all 6mm. This is like a 10, or actually this is probably a 12. I'd say this is like a 14. I don't know. I haven't measured them, but I know these are 6mm. Maybe they're 8. I don't know. I think these are 8, actually. I'm sorry. I believe these are 8mm. So yeah, I'm a little scattered today. So, but anyway, you're going to need some chandelier findings, and you can use any chandelier finding. You can make it a 10 strand necklace if you want. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I have all different chandelier findings in here, and I just really like this one. I think it's really pretty. You're going to need a lobster or whatever type clasp you want to use. I always put an extender, and along with an extender, I will make a bead dangle. So I need a head pin. You need 10 clamshells. You need one for each strand, so that's 6. And then you need 7, 8 to attach it on the other end, and then 9, 10 at the top to attach your clasp and everything. So 10 clamshells. You need a ring for your lobster clasp that you can hook that to the one that your lobster actually hooks to. So it kind of needs to be a bigger one, I think. I usually use a bigger one. It's totally up to you, but that's what I usually do. And then you need a smaller ring to attach your lobster onto your chain, your Coreana chain. And I might use some little silver spacer beads here, and you need a ton of crimp beads, like a lot of crimp beads. I don't even know how many, because we're going to attach the beads. Each bead is going to have a crimp on either side of it. Okay, so yeah, you're going to need a lot of crimp beads. And they need to be small crimp beads as well. Don't use big, huge crimp beads, because they're going to be on your chain and they're going to show. And I'm just going to crimp them like with my pliers or my crimping tool. I'm not going to cover them with a crimp cover or anything. So they're going to show. So you don't want them to be huge. You know, you kind of want to use smaller crimps if you can. And I'm over here picking my crimps out because I was not smart enough when I first started beading to separate them out. And I just dumped them all in one thing. And so since then, I've just continued to dump them all in one thing. So I have like all sizes, all colors, everything in this one container. So yeah, I'm having to separate them all out, but yeah, you learn. You live and learn, which I guess I didn't learn because I'm still not separating them. I'm still just dumping them all in there. But anyway. All right, you will need some E6000 if you want to reinforce your clamshells with glue. But I think that's everything. And if I've forgotten something, I'm sorry, but we'll figure it out. So I'm going to dump out my spacer beads here. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to use a bead bug on each one of these strands. And the reason for that is I know myself and I will inevitably string beads on here and then they'll end up falling off. Actually, no, we're going to crimp. So, but I'm probably going to want to, I don't know. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to use the bead bugs because I'm going to crimp. So, all right. So the first thing you have to do is decide how you want this to go. So, let me scoot this up so it's on camera because that's kind of important. Get all the stuff kind of scooted up here. Okie doke. Okay. So the way that I'm going to do this is I want a focal on each strand. So I want a focal here, I want a focal here, and a focal here. And I want them to be right on top of each other. And then I'm going to embellish with beads on the sides. So the first thing you have to decide is how long you want your bottom strand to be and where you want your focal, okay? So I am going to make my bottom strand, and I just kind of lay this out like this. If you have a beading board, you can use it. So maybe, let me pull this out here. I don't normally use this thing, this bead buddy thing, but maybe I should. But I never do. I don't know. It kind of just confuses me, so I'm not going to. But if you have one, you might want to use it. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to center my focal and crimp it where I want it to go. Now, I'm going to put the focal and a pearl on either side, like this. And I'm going to do moonstone on the rest of this layer. This layer, I'm going to do a focal and moonstone on either side and pearls on the rest of the layer. And this layer, I'm going to do this focal with some bead caps, like this. And then the pearls on either side. And then I will take moonstone and pearls up the side and alternate them. So I'm kind of going to do it like that. And the reason, I mean, you want to have, I think that it looks good when you're doing a multi-strand necklace like this one. I think that it looks good to pull each element into each layer. So how this layer will have a focal and it'll have pearl and moonstone. This layer will have moonstone and pearl. And this layer will have both as well, alternating. So you don't want each one to look the same. I mean, I guess you could make them all the same. You can do it however you want, but I think that it looks really good to do, to alternate things, but to pull each element into each layer, if that makes sense. And that's just the way that I do it. You don't have to do it that way. You can do it however you want. And I don't know that I'll use that many beads either, but I'm going to lay them out so I have them. So it's kind of going to look like this, and I do want to pull out some spacer beads because I want to incorporate a little bit of the metal down here as well. So let me see if I do have spacers here, plain spacers, but I kind of like to use a daisy spacer on there if I can find my daisy spacers. Oh, here they are. Okay, so let me see if I can find a couple of bright silver ones. Here's one. Are these? No, these aren't too big. Okay, yeah, these will work good. So yeah, I'm just going to put a daisy spacer on either side there. And I think that'll just pull enough of the metal down into this one to make it pretty. Okay, so here's kind of what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to work on before I do any of these outside beads is my focal. And I want to get it centered just like I like it. So I'll lay the chandelier here, and what I want to do is measure this and just see how long it is, because the focal needs to be in the very middle. So let me see how long. I'm going to do, there's 12 inches. Let me see here. There's 12. I'm going to make this bottom layer 16 inches long. Yeah, I'm going to make it 16 inches. So I'm going to cut it right at the 16-inch mark. And then what I'm going to do is half it like this, just fold it in half. Okay? And so I just kind of want to get the center for the focal. Okay, so then I'm going to slide my focal bead on like this. Get in there. The chain's having trouble going through it. Now it's having trouble coming out. What in the world? Let me stick the head pin in there and just try to make sure it's clear. It's not, or it's... This focal's kind of like jammed up inside there. Something is. If you can take a head pin and try to poke it through, sometimes there will be something inside. But let me grab another one. She gave me 4 of these. Let me see if one of these might work better. Let's see. Let's see if this one will work better for this. I don't know why that it's kind of jammed up inside there. I don't really have any thicker head pins, or I would try to see if this one might go through. Now this one's doing the same thing. Huh. Wonder why they're not free through the middle. That's going to be hard. I may not be able to use this if this continues. Let's try this one again. It's thinner. Yeah, these are like blocked in the middle or something. I'll have to somehow get something to go through them. Let me just try the chain again and see if maybe there's just a curve in there and that's keeping the head pin from going in, but it's like they're not drilled completely through for some reason. Well, that's not good because I really like this piece. I wanted to use it on this. Yeah, the chain just will not go through. There's something inside that's blocking. I can see all the way through it. It's just not drilled out all the way through, and a beading awl won't go in there. I know it's too wide. Well, if I had something really thick, here's a piece of wire. Man, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to use this on tiger tail because I think tiger tail would go through there, but I'm wanting to use the Coreana chain for this project. Okay, well, maybe I could make a link. Let me try this. Let me grab a piece of tiger tail. This is called improvising, people. That's what this is. So let me see if I can do this. So if I can get the tiger tail to go through here, and it does just fine. And then let me go ahead and put on these other things. Okay. So if you have a piece that your Coreana chain won't go through, which I'm really surprised with these, but I'm going to see if I can just make a link here and do it this way, which will require me to have a couple more lobsters. So let me pull them out. Sorry, I didn't anticipate my my chain not going through that. It's a big piece, so I just, thought it would work. But I guess I should have checked it beforehand. But this is what happens when you're beading and you're creating. So it's kind of nice, I think, for you all to be able to see what to do in a situation like that. And I think what I'm getting ready to do here will work. We'll see how it looks. Okay, so you got your tiger tail here. And we need to crimp it. We need to create an end so we can attach it to our chain with an end. So I'm trying to decide if I want to use a wire guard or if I just want to crimp it and clamshell it. And I think I'm just going to crimp it and clamshell it. I think. I don't know if maybe a really thin gauge of wire would have gone through there. Maybe. Like a 26 gauge or something probably would have fit through. But I have these tiny little clamshells, and these are a little different. They close on the side. So let's try this. Let's put a crimp bead on. And let's go ahead and just close it down. Now, if this doesn't work, it just doesn't work, but I'm just going to give it a try. I really want to use this focal on this. I like this focal a lot. So, and I think it looks really pretty with these beads, so I really want to use it if I can. So I'm just going to crimp either side, and I'm going to crimp them tight up next to the bead pretty well, because I don't want it to be moving around. So there's what I've got. Okay. So I'm going to pull out my E6000 because these little crimps and clamshells make me extremely nervous, and I want to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. And this is a good way to make sure of that. And all of my toothpicks have glue on them. Okay, so here we go. Just grab a little glue. I'm going to put it on the crimp and the wire right here. And I'm going to cut it. Just cut it down, you know, close to your crimp. And then I'm going to take this little clamshell with my pliers. If I can get my pliers to hold it. And I'm just going to slide it on. And with your glue in there, you should be able just to slide it on and it'll kind of hold right there until you can close it up. Okay, and make sure, see my crimp is not in there all the way. You want to make sure that your crimp is completely inside. Let me see if I can scoot it. Yeah, this may not work, but it may. I can scoot that up and close it really good, and I think I did. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so just close it up tight. Make sure it's closed up tight. Now when your glue dries, it's going to be in there for good. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to cut this first though, so I don't get glue all over my pliers. Put a little bit of the glue, and you can even put the glue inside the clam if you want, but I'm just going to put it on here. Okay. I'm just going to use my fingers because I think it's a little easier just to slide this up on here. My crimp's not in there. You have to be sure that your crimp bead gets inside there, and that's what the glue helps with this. It just is going to, once it dries, it'll be secure in there, like it won't come out. Okay, and close it good. Okay, so that makes a little component just like this. And I think this is going to work. Okay, so now I need crimp beads on either side of my chain. So what I'm going to have to do is cut my chain in the middle. So just half your chain. Cut it in the middle. I've got beads everywhere, don't I? And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to crimp this and put one of these little clamshells on it. And I'm using these little tiny ones just because, you know, they're a little bit less obtrusive than bigger ones. And I'm not going to use the tiny ones on the whole thing, but I am on this part. So I will take my crimp bead, put it on the very end of this chain, crimp it down, take my glue and put it a little bit on there, And then stick my clamshell over it. Just like this. And close her up. Okay. So that will attach to this perfectly. And I may even create a little bead connector thing to put in here. We'll look at that in just a second. I'm going to do the other side. Put your crimp on. Smush it down real good. Little E6000 on here. Put your crimp on there. And close it up. Okay, so that's going to be perfect right there. And I think I might do a little moonstone bead connector in there just because it'll make it a little bit prettier. So I'm going to take a couple of eye pins and a couple of little daisy spacers. Let's see if I can find my small daisy spacers. Yeah, here they are. I'd rather use the smaller ones on this. So let's throw a couple. These are big ones. I don't want the big ones. I want these little ones. So let's do a couple of these on either side of the moonstone bead. Okay, so we're going to put one of these on the head pin, a moonstone bead, and one of these little spacers like this. Get that off my pliers. Okay, then we're going to roll a loop, so you just bend it 90 degrees. Take your round nose pliers. Actually, cut it off. We bend it and cut it first. And I want this to be a fairly small loop because I kind of want it to match the other one. And then just take your pliers and roll this back. And there you have it. And that's a little component that I will use to connect this, and I think it'll be very pretty on there. I just love the moonstone beads. I can't even get over them. They're so, so pretty. So we're going to put this on here and this. Bend it 90 degrees. And I actually made a rule for myself that I was going to not make any more jewelry until I had everything uploaded to my website. Well, obviously, I have broken my own rule because here I am making jewelry and I only uploaded 6 things this morning. So we're going to go ahead and attach this. But I figured you guys need tutorials, right? You want tutorials. So I have to do that. I have to make some tutorials. So that's how I'm justifying even making this necklace right now. It's a tutorial and you guys need tutorials and everybody's home right now making things, so we need tutorials. So, you know, it's a necessity at this point, and then I will finish uploading some more stuff after I make this tutorial. How's that? And now we're going to attach this to this end of the clam. And close it back up. Now sometimes the clamshells, I don't think these, because these are really small, I don't think they're going to, but sometimes the clamshells will cause this to be wonky and not to flow really good, or it'll cause it to get caught. And if it does, you can use a jump ring to put in there, and that'll just keep it from doing that. So now we're going to attach this side. I want to make sure they're closed really good. I always go back after I finish my jewelry and just check every little connection, every little jump ring, and make sure that everything's closed up really good. Now see how this is kind of getting hung up there? If it continues to do that, I might take them out and reattach them with jump rings, but hopefully it'll not be a pain. Okay, we're going to put this one on. Okay, so here's what we've got, this little middle component, and I think it's going to work out just fine, even though it's not what I had planned. Okay, so now I'm wanting to put the moonstone beads in even intervals up the sides of this chain. So I'm going to take a crimp bead, put it on here, whoops. And you just need to decide how far apart you want yours to go. So let's see. I think I'm going to put it about right there. I don't want it to be too close. I want it to be a little bit spread out. I'm going to take my pliers and just crimp that down. Now I'm going to crimp it tight, but I'm not going to worry about it being really pretty because I just don't think that they're going to show that much that it would matter. And you're going to take your bead. If they really bother you, the crimps, you can put crimp bead covers or crimp covers over them. Or if you have the magical crimping pliers and crimps, you can use those and make the little round crimps. Now you want to crimp these in kind of tight. You don't want them floating, like, you know, sliding anywhere. You want them to sit right there. So let me measure, because I want to make sure that I do this very well and not just eyeball it. For once, I'm actually going to measure something. And let's see. So from the end of the crimp, the little clamshell, to right before, or to where I have the crimp on here, is about 1 3/4 inches. So I want to do that on the other side as well. So let's put this one in. And I mean, you don't have to measure it really. If you can eyeball it and make it look good, then by all means do that. I probably could, but I'm just going to measure it. I'm going to do it this way because that's okay. So we've got from the end of the clam to the crimp. Was that one? That wasn't 1 3/4, was it? No. No, it wasn't. Okay. It was a little less than 1.5 inches. What was I thinking? Okay. So let's do this. A little less than 1.5 inches over here. So right about, and it doesn't have to be exact. I mean, as long as it doesn't look, you don't want it to look way off is my point, what I'm trying to get at here. So I'm going to go right here and do it. Put the moonstone bead on. Yeah, that's good. And crimp the other end of it. Okay, so you just slide it down. Crimp it kind of tight. You don't want it floating around in there. And there's what we've got. Now see how this is, I don't like how those catch up on there sometimes. Okay, so this is what we've got. Now I'm going to add another one. Same thing. Except for I'm just going to eyeball this one. I think I can eyeball them close enough. So let's put a crimp on. I want them to be kind of spread out anyway. I don't want them to be totally, because I'm going to stagger, I think I'm going to stagger the other ones in between on the next row. So I'm going to go about right here. Put my moonstone bead on. And the sky. Okay, and I'm going to do the other side. I'm just going to take it like this. line it up on the ends. Just try to make sure that I have it close enough in the same place. Okay, so my video stopped again. I have no idea what's going on. It may be that I have too many videos recorded and I've got to upload some things before I can record anything else. We'll see. If it stops again, then I'll just have to redo this whole video. But anyway, I was talking about the tree, and I don't know where it quit cutting out, but yeah, the tree, we cut the tree down, and I was really proud of him. It was kind of scary. So, but we'll have firewood all winter long. Next winter, we will not have to buy any firewood, I don't think. It was a huge tree. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, so here's what we've got so far, and I think this is really pretty. It's going to turn out really pretty. So I'm going to leave this first row here and start on the second row because I don't want to go too far up the side and not have room to put my clamshell on. Okay, so for the second row, I'm wanting to do this. No, it was this one I wanted to do in the middle. And I was going to put a pearl on each side. And I didn't want to do a silver because, no, I was going to do a moonstone on each side. That's right. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these on and try to find the center of our chain. Down in there. Okay, so just find the center of your chain as best you can. Get it on there, and then we're just going to crimp either side so that it stays. So let's do that. My chain is a little, let me trim this, it's just slightly, mash it down. Mary Kay told me to mash this down with pliers and it works good. She was right, it does. See? Thank you, Mary Kay, for that tip. Pro tip from Mary Kay. Alright, let's just put it right here and smush it. And I somehow got some seed beads mixed up within my crump beads. Don't know how I did that, but I went in through there yesterday and was trying to crimp something and it had seed beads. It was a seed bead, and I did that like 3 different times. Smushed a seed bead. Okay, so there's that little piece. And now we're going to do pearls up the sides. Okay, so let me lay this kind of like I want it to go because I want this to alternate. I want to kind of alternate them if I can. So I want this to hang just right about here above that one. Okay, and so I would like to put the pearls like this, see, in between the layers of the moonstone. We'll see if I can do this. So I want to put a crimp on. Okay, now let me just look about right there. I think is where I want it to go. Mash it down. Put your pearl on. And another crimp. And I do have the Coreana chain if you need it. It's for sale on my website. I don't have a ton of the rose gold. I don't think I have any of the rose gold left, but I actually have it ordered. So it will come. I ordered it from Panda Hall, and I think it may have already shipped out. I don't know, but there is definitely gold, I believe, and silver. I know I have silver. There may be some gold up there too. And then again, the rose gold will be coming, so this would be really pretty with rose gold, I think. Okay. We'll do our pearl. Get on there. me go ahead and put this bead on here. And Chris and I, we haven't been out for a long time, like to go anywhere. We've taken a motorcycle ride through neighborhoods, but that's all, you know, just to kind of get some fresh air. But we haven't been out anywhere, and I've got to go to Sam's today because I have to get my prescription filled for my leg medicine, and I'm like interested to see what all's going on out there in the world. I feel like I've been in the house forever, which I don't mind one bit. I love being home. I could stay here all the time. You guys know that. I've said it on here, but I am kind of interested to get out and see. Last time we were out, it didn't look like anything was different. There were people everywhere. It didn't look like anybody was quarantining to me. So, which is really kind of scary when you think about it. I mean, what's it going to take for people to take it seriously if they aren't now? But a lot of people did have on masks and stuff, but they were, I mean, the parking lots were full. Like, even the drive-through restaurants, and I'm thinking, why are restaurants even still open? I mean, I'm not sure that that's a necessity, really. We do have grocery stores, and people can go there. I don't think, it doesn't make sense to expose all these drive-through workers to everybody, you know, even if they wear masks and stuff. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be doing it. Taking everybody's cards, and even if they're wearing gloves, I don't know. It just seems like an unnecessary risk to me. We don't really need Burger King right now. We could make burgers at home. Okay, that one is having issues as well. Let me flatten him a little bit. He went through the other pearl just fine. I don't know what his issue is now, but sometimes it gets like split on the ends a little bit. Take your pliers and flatten it. Okay, maybe that pearl just has a really small hole. Let's try this one. Yep, that must have been it. Okay, so see how it's turning out? Okay. Alright, let's crimp these. And this one. So like I said, I uploaded 6 items to the website this morning. And then I stopped and decided to make a necklace tutorial, and then I'm going to go back and upload some more. But I've got probably 150 things left to put up there. I'm never going to get it done. It is so time consuming. Okay, so if we pull that down a little, yeah, these aren't turning out just exactly in between there, but that's okay. We're going to go about, I still want to kind of make them even intervals, even if it doesn't put them in between the moonstones totally, because I think it would look weird if I didn't. I'll go about right there. Okay, how's that looking? What do you guys think? I think it's looking pretty. So we're going to do one more pearl on the other side. And that might be, well, and it may need to do one more probably on each side. So yeah, I'll go ahead over here while I'm over here and just go ahead and do this pearl last one. Okay, so let's put it about right there. Go down just a tad. There we go. Okay, last pearl on this side. The one thing that I'm hating about this whole quarantine and stuff is that I can't go home. Like, I can't go visit my mom and dad and my kids. And that's been really hard because I haven't been home since Christmas, and I'm really missing everybody. I had planned to come home once in end of March or beginning of April, and then again in May for Landon's graduation, but I don't even know at this point. I can't go now, obviously, but I don't know what that will happen, like if he'll even get to graduate. I don't know how it's all going to work, but I'm really, really missing him. I haven't seen him for months, and I've never gone this long in my life without seeing my boys, so it's really kind of getting to me, that part of it is. It'd be the perfect time to travel home because I'm not working, but I can't do it. I wouldn't want to take a chance on exposing my dad anyway. My dad's immunocompromised, and I'd be afraid that, not that I think I have anything, but still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. One more over here. Okay. But yeah, I've never gone this long without seeing them, and of course I've been talking to them on the phone and stuff, but it's not the same. Not at all the same. Okay. Last pearl on this side. And one more crimp. Okay, so far, this is what we've got. Whoops. I think it's going to be really pretty. So now for our last row here, so we need to find our middle, just like before, to put our focal on. So let's put the bead cap. No, let's go this way. I always do that with bead caps. I always get them. Nope, I did it wrong. No, I didn't. Okay. And then this bead, which I think is beautiful. And the bead cap. Okay, so there's what we've got. Now, do I want to put beads on either side of it or just leave it? You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to do a couple little silver beads on either side, if I can find one that's not too incredibly small. I ordered some more silver spacers, but all of these are really tiny. So let me see if I have another silver bead that might work. Because I'd kind of like to put one more thing on there, but I don't think I want to use the moonstone or the pearl for... I've got these little silver spacers that are kind of like frosted looking, or like, I don't know what you call that. So I think I'll use them. Let's put one on each side. Go ahead and put the crimp bead on. Okay, and one on this side. And the crimp bead. Okay. And we'll make sure that these are centered as best as we can. And like I said, it's just, they just try to get them. It doesn't have to be exact because we'll finish the ends and we can adjust how we want it to lay then. Okay, so yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, now I'm going to go up this and I'm going to alternate moonstone and pearl. And I'm going to start with the pearl because here I have the moonstone. So I'm just going to alternate pearl and moonstone up the sides. I hope I have enough pearls to do this. I should. Okay, got a few more there. I'm going to make these a little bit closer together. Let's do a pearl. Grab some more of these. I'm running out of them. I think I'll have enough to finish this. Okay, pearl. Crimp bead. Come on, crimp bead, get on there. Some of them are just going to be difficult. Let's try this one. Oh, it dropped out of my hand. Here we go. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Crimp bead. And the reason that I'm not pausing the video and doing it and then coming back is because I know right now that everybody's kind of bored at home and you're not in a big rush anyway. And a lot of people have told me that they like to just sit and bead with me while I'm doing this. So this allows you, I think that's a seed bead. This allows you to be able to just sit and bead with me if you want to. And if you don't and you want to, you can always fast forward, you know, to the end where I'm finishing it and stuff. But a lot of people have told me that they like this. They like to be able just to sit and bead while I'm doing it as well. So, hey, I'm all for that. Okay, so there's our pearl. Now let's do a moonstone. My bead mat's getting some fuzz on my stuff here. Okay. I just can't get over how pretty these moonstone beads are. They're so beautiful. A moonstone. So this is not hard at all. It just requires a lot of crimp beads. A lot of little crimps on this thing. Come on now. There we go. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Moonstone bead. Crimp. Come on now. Goodness, some of them go on so easy. I know they're probably different sizes, but they don't really look like they're different sizes. Just tried to pick out all the little ones. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. I'm kind of debating if I want to go on up or if I just want to leave this chain. I think I'm just going to leave it chain. I think that would be kind of cool looking, just to leave and not bead all the way up on that one. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to join these to our chandelier finding. So I'm going to take the bottom one first, and I'm going to go ahead and put a clamshell on. Now these are the kind that goes up through the bottom like this, and then you crimp it, and I'm going to put it at about an even interval from the last bead. Pretty close. Let me go down a little. Yeah, actually, I think I'm just going to do it like right about here because I don't want to make it look like it's missing a bead, and I'm afraid if I go up too far it would look that way. So I'm going to go down just a tad. I'm not going to do it too far from that last bead, if that makes sense. Okay, my glue's dry now. Let me get the glue going again. Put a little glue in there. Trim this one off. Here's the crimp. There it is. Getting glue all over my pliers. Alright, and close that up. Yeah, I should do the glue last. Okay, so there's that end. And we're going to do the same thing on this end. Just put that through. Put our crimp on. Okay, now I'm going to try to match it up here pretty good. And I think right about there is where we want to go. Crimp it. Go ahead and cut it before I put my glue on. And then add some glue. Okay. Close that up. Okay, so here's our first one. Now, we need some teeny weeny jump rings. I didn't say that in the beginning, I'm sorry. But we do. So let me dump out a bunch of jump rings here. That's another thing I have just all in one container. It's terrible. And I'm going to use, these are about a 4mm jump ring, I believe. Okay. I have a couple smaller ones here, but I think I'm going to go with these because I don't want to make it to where it's too tight on that chandelier finding. So I'm going to open my jump ring, put my lobster on, my finding on, and close up my jump ring. Make sure it's closed really good. And let me get my glasses. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay. So open our jump ring. Go ahead and insert this. And where's my other chandelier? Here it is. Okay, and you want to do it on the outside. Make sure you're doing it on the outside one. Close it up. Okay. So there's what we have for the first row. Let me grab these out of the way for just a minute and lay this out so we can see. Okay. So just like this. And what you want to do is just lay it out to where you can see how your pieces lay. And then we're going to do the second one, but you've got to decide kind of how you want it to go. And I want it to be a little bit above this first one, obviously. So I'm going to put my crimp kind of close down here to the, let me scoot this down. Don't want it to fall off the end of the table. Okay, so you just want to make sure that you have it kind of laying like you want it. And it looks like if I put my crimp pretty much just toward the end that this is going to lay pretty perfectly. So let me get a lobster. And like I said, you could use a bead board or you could measure, but I'm just kind of eyeballing it because I think it's going to work out just fine. And I'm running out of crimps. Okay, here we go. So let's put this crimp on. And I don't want to scoot it down too far. We definitely don't want it all the way down there. I'm going to put it right about, if I can get a hold of it, right about here. Okay. Cut my wire. And add a little glue. Just like this. Okay. And there we have it. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then I've got to go upload stuff to my website when I'm done here because I'm afraid the bargain bead box is going to come like today or tomorrow. And I'm not going to be able to make anything out of it because I've told myself I'm not going to until I get this done. I'll get that all uploaded. So yeah, I have to get that done at least, so I can do my bargain bead box. That would be a disaster not to be able to do my bargain bead box. Okay, so I'm just lining these up, trying to get it as close as I can, and that looks right. And smush it down. Okay, trim our wire off the end. Okay, and a little glue. Perfect. Okay, close it up. Alrighty, now we've got this. 2 more small jump rings, 4mm jump rings. Right here. Let's open these up. And we're going to attach the 2nd row on the middle. Okay. And there's that one. Let's do this one. Oops. And one thing that if you find, like, say I got done with this and I did not like the way that it was hanging, like I would like my bottom row to be longer, you could attach another jump ring or 2 if you needed to and make your bottom row longer. You can't really make them shorter, but you could definitely make them longer. Okay, so this is looking good. This is what I've got so far, and I think it's just about, it's hanging, let me show you, just about perfect the way I'm going to want it to hang on the bottom. So let's do this next row, and then I'll show you the whole thing. Okay, so here's the last row. And again, you just want to get these even. Just even them up on the side so you can see, you know, how they're laying and what you've got. And then we want this row, I definitely want to sit up from this one. So I can't get this whole thing on camera, it's the problem. I'm trying to, but it's not happening. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here is take my clamshell, just measure it and get it the way you want it. I know you can't see my end right there because I can't get it on camera, the whole thing, but go ahead and put your crimp on. Some of these crimps too have littler crimps up inside of them. That's one reason I'm having trouble getting the chain in there. I need to pop it out with a, I think that one does, maybe not, I don't know. I need to pop it out with a head pin or something. Okay, so now, let's see, let me decide how I want this to, where I want this to be. So yeah, I'm gonna crimp it right about here. Making sure I put my clamshell on. I couldn't remember if I did or not. Okay. Now we'll put the clam up here, trim this off. There we go. A little glue in there. Close it right up. Okay. And we'll do the other side. Now, this is where I've got to be a little careful and make sure that I get these right. I know you can't see what I'm doing on screen. I'm sorry. I'm just adjusting it and laying it like I want it to go so that I can make sure that I get the clamshell and the crimp bead where I want it. And the only way to do that is just to lay it down on your mat and just, you know, get it, just adjust it just like you want it. And I can't really get the whole thing on screen, so I'm sorry, but that's all I'm doing is laying it down and just checking to see that everything is laying just like I want it to. That one doesn't have a hole in it. Sometimes that happens with these clamshells. There's no hole in the bottom. I don't understand that. Okay. Okay, so just get your clam where you want it and your crimp where you want it. Oops, this is fiddly. This part is just trying to get it all lined up right, but it'll work out and it'll be really pretty. Okay, scoot this on up just a tad. Okay, we're gonna go right there. Okay. Yep, that's about right, exactly where I want it. Okay, cut this off. And add my glue. Close it up. Okay, now we're going to attach these with our little 4mm jump rings. And we're almost done. We're going to work on the top. The top won't take but just a minute. So this is the part that is more time consuming than anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach this to our chandelier. Just like that. I'm going to attach the other side to the chandelier. Okay. And there it is. It's looking really good. Yeah, I really like this. It's so pretty. Now my very top row might be hanging a little bit too close. So I think I'm going to add another very small jump ring onto the second row. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to keep the 4mm jump ring attached to the chandelier, and I'm going to put a little, I don't know what these are, 3mm maybe, they're tiny. That I'm going to hook this to that middle piece, and see if you end up with your rows like touching or something and you don't want them to, you can always add a couple little jump rings or even a piece of chain if you wanted. But I don't want them to be too close together, so I'm just going to add this little jump ring in to give it just a tad bit more space. Okay. Oops. There we go. And so that's going to give that middle row just a tad bit more space and just make it to where it's not going to hang too close to the top row, because they were touching and I don't want them to touch. So let's do this. Let's add on this little jump ring right here. That's just a quick way, and you can do that with any of your rows, but that's just a quick way to make sure that they hang exactly where you want them to. Okay, now when I hold it up, yeah, that's better. Okay, now we're going to lay this down and we're going to attach the top. Make sure that your chandelier isn't twisted like mine just was. What have I done? Is mine? Sometimes it can get through, like you can twist it through the loop and it'll mess things up. So just make sure that you're hanging it just right. And I don't know why this is twisting. Let me fix this real quick. For some reason, If I get it through there. Ugh, this part's, somehow I've gotten this. I may just need to put, there we go. It just needed to go through the chain. Okay, whew. I was like, what did I do? Okay, so now we're going to attach the top part. So you might want to hold it up and see kind of where you want it to hang, because I don't want mine to be I want mine to be, I don't need, what I'm trying to say here that I can't seem to get out is I don't need huge pieces for the top. I just need a couple of small pieces of chain. So couldn't get that out for the life of me. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it in half because I don't need very much. I don't need much length because this part's pretty long. Okay, I'll take it and cut it in half. I'm going to add a lobster claw and a crimp to the bottom right here. Or not a lobster claw, good lord, a clamshell. I'm telling y'all. I'm getting to where I can't hardly think straight for some reason. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put our little clam on here and our crimp. Pull it down to the very end. Crimp it closed. Gonna add a little glue in if I can get some out. My glue's about dried on the ends here. Look at my toothpick, it's awful. Okay, and close this up. Just clean your glue off. Now we're going to attach this to this with a little jump ring. Now if you have little twisted jump rings or something, I do, but I'm not going to take the time to dig them out at the moment. But they're really pretty on here just because they're decorative. So let's put this guy on just like this. Okay, same thing on the other side. And you could do a link here. You could bead up the sides if you wanted to. You could do about anything. I'm not going to right now. Goodness, my clamshells don't have holes in the bottom, some of them. If you encounter that, you can take a beading awl and just poke some holes in them, but be really careful because I've slipped before and poked a hole in my hand and that hurts really, really bad. You don't want to do that. Alright, so close that one up. Add a little glue in there. A little bit much glue in there. There we go. Close this one up. And take your little jump ring and attach him. Okay, now hold this up to you and look at your length and decide, you know, if you want it to be any longer or shorter. I think mine's right about where I want it to be. So we're going to finish the ends. Now what you need to do is you need to line these up like this and just make sure, it should be the same if you cut it right in half, but just make sure. And yeah, mine are good. So we're going to put 2 crimps in a clamshell. 2 crimps and 2 clamshells. Let's take a clamshell. There's another one with no hole in the bottom. Goodness. Put your clam on. Put your crimp on. Crimp it down. Little glue, if I can get some off this thing here. Close it up. Okay, other side, same exact thing. I'm gonna have to find a clam that has an open bottom in it though, because those are all closed. It's really weird that some of them have holes and other ones don't. Here's one. This one has a hole, okay. Alright, so take this one, put it on here, and another little crimp. Close that up. All right. This necklace is just a tad bit time consuming, but it sure does turn out pretty. Okay, so now we're going to attach our lobster, our bead dangle, and everything. So let's make the bead dangle. So I'm just going to take just a moonstone bead, a little silver spacer here, and a pearl for my dangle. Put them on that head pin. Come on, pearl, don't. There we go. Bend it. Cut it off. And make a loop. Okay, close it up real good. Okay, now let's take our big ring, this one, take our extender chain, and put it through one of our ends here. Close it up really good. Okay, you want to make sure it's really close good because these little things are thin and you don't want it sliding through there. And I'm going to attach my bead dangle on the end by just opening this link of chain a little bit. Put my bead dangle on and close my chain. Okay, now we're going to take a smaller jump ring. The 4mm work pretty good. And we're going to attach our lobster right here. Just like that. And we're done. So we have a beautiful multi-strand necklace using chandelier components. And it is very hard to get on screen, so I am going to pause the camera and put this on a form and then I will show it to you. So hang on just a minute and we'll be right back. Okay, so there is our finished necklace and it turns out just beautiful, I think. I've got it hanging on the canvas there and then you can see the little bead dangle at the top. I'm trying not to move the camera too much, but I'm holding it. But yeah, it turns out just beautifully. I love the moonstone beads. They're so pretty. So if you're interested in buying the Coreana chain, like I said, it is listed on my website, and I have more on order. So if we don't have a color that you want, it will be back in stock. It's already shipped out, I think, and is on the way here. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I've got to get to uploading pictures on my website, so I'll be AWOL until I get that done. But thanks for watching, and yeah, you guys have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!